I was watching YouTube the other day, and there was a prominent businessman, a hedge fund guy, made a lot of money, and he was being interviewed by a British guy, Stephen, and it was a great interview. And in the interview, he made a quote. He said, "A smart rabbit has 3 holes," and then he went on to explain it a little bit, and that just started sticking with me. And I've been pondering that for a while. And then in light of, the tragedy in Utah this week, I mean, it really got me thinking about, this whole idea of a smart rabbit has 3 holes, and what does that mean? How does that mean to me and what I talk about on this channel? Like, what does that mean when it comes to health and fitness? What does that mean when it comes to, possibly looking for alternative locations to live? And what does that mean about, relationships, friendships, and finances, like, where we store our value? And so I thought, we should maybe discuss it. Maybe we should talk about it. A smart rabbit has 3 holes. Yeah, that's very interesting. Good morning, everybody. I'm Bryant, over 60 guy. Welcome to my channel. If you're first time, I appreciate you showing up, clicking in and checking it out. I'm on my morning walk, so I took a pause because oftentimes if I have a weighty topic, I'd like to make some notes and just really dig into it properly. So hopefully I'll do a good job on that. Welcome. If you've been here a while and you're on your 30-day fitness challenge, hope you're out there walking. I am on my walking. I try to walk an hour every morning. So I took a break for this. So this saying, a smart rabbit has 3 holes, it actually comes from China. And so there was this back in around 475 to 221 BC, in the warring state of China, there was a Lord Qi, and he was very wealthy and powerful, but he was a bit concerned because at that time, lords could overcome each other very swiftly, and he was very concerned and perplexed about that. And he had an assistant named Feng Xuan, and one day this guy advised him a simple image. He just drew a simple image, and he said, even a crafty rabbit knows to dig 3 burrows. If a hunter finds one, the rabbit escapes through one. If he is found again, then there's a 3rd one. That's why the rabbit survives. And he told the Lord merchant this. He said, you two have to have 3 holes. Not burrows, obviously, but you need relationships, networks, options. You need 3 holes in case, you're taken down here, you can escape, go there. Your wealth is preserved, your livelihood, your relationships are preserved. So it's really just one of preparation. We live in a very interesting time where things are moving quickly. I mean, this is kind of like the Industrial Revolution, or kind of like after the days of World War II. So that the new rules are being set, and they're being set very quickly this time. AI, robotics, advances in health, wealth gaps. I mean, it's got everything going crazy. So let's just talk about how this concept, applies to each of our categories. So when we take a look at our health, for instance, I encourage daily routines of push-ups, squats, stretching, walking, consistent moving to keep your engine going. But what happens if you have an injury? What happens if you're traveling and your patterns are disrupted? And so you need an alternate form of doing these things. You need to think about and prepare for, so that you don't get off track. one of the biggest challenges we have, even people said, it was consistency. And when consistency is interrupted, when your patterns are interrupted, it's easy to get slack. It's easy to stop doing what made you strong to begin with. And so an alternate source of training would be stuff like resistant bands, yoga, swimming, water exercises. If you injured your knee or shoulder, let's say. So you have to think about other ways that you can keep on your path. So the same thing with nutrition. You got to think about your nutrition and hydration, your stress management. You need to have, if these things are disrupted, have you created enough discipline? Have you created enough of your own internal management to say, hey, I'm injured, but I'm not going to get down. I'm not going to be stressed. I'm going to shift over to my second hole. I'm going to shift over to that. And then also, if you're outside of your normal eating habits, if you normally make breakfast, or if you normally pack a lunch, but you find that, hey, I'm out today or I'm without it, how do you react to that? Do you have a list of healthy snacks or a list of healthy ways to eat, even if you have to do fast food? Are there options that you can do? Are there ways that you can, redo that food or redo that protein, right? So again, thinking of the rabbit and 3 holes as it applies to your health, you have to have, and you have to prepare and have to have discipline enough to create alternates to your normal routine. And this is really important in finances. I recognized a long time ago that, the system that we're in, this fiat system, this dollar system is, gonna go away. It's slowly being eroded, and it has to be, because, the minute Nixon took us off the gold standard in 71, we basically said, look, we're not pegging our monetary to gold anymore. We're no longer going to be responsible. We're just going to print. We're going to go to bonds and treasuries, and we're just going to print. We're the world's reserve currency. But slowly over time, they've slowly printed excess amounts of dollars every year, to the point where now things aren't getting more expensive, just the dollar's becoming less valuable against things. And so this is really, measured like in gold, where gold was at 35, now gold's at 35, 2660 or something like that, or 3600, I'm sorry. So it used to be, did gold get more expensive, or did dollars become less valuable? The same thing with Bitcoin. I mean, I'll post this image another day, but it used to be, it would, for like one of the first iPhones, it cost you hundreds of Bitcoin. Now you can get an iPhone for, fraction of a Bitcoin. And so did the iPhone become more expensive, or did Bitcoin become more valuable against the dollar? And so I always think that you need to have alternative plans outside of cash, and you have to have portability. And so the best and greatest asset for wealth preservation and portability is Bitcoin. A lot of people use real estate or securities, etc., for store of value. But you need to look at what is the greatest, what is the best, what is the most portable store of value. So again, going back to this whole idea of a rabbit has 3 holes, do you have an alternate finance plan? Have you put things in different pockets so that if there's an emergency, you can survive? And so it's so important today. And then also where we live. There's a guy on YouTube, Nomad Capitalist, and he always says, go where you're treated best. And he preaches, there's countries in the world where you can set up residence and you're treated very well. The society is civil, it's clean, it's safe, you know, it's affordable, right? So for someone who's traveled a lot, my wife and I have been a lot of places, and there are places that are just, you know, it's very, you know, relaxed. It's very chill. It's very, you know, it's not dangerous. It's safe, and it's more affordable. So, do you have a plan B? Is there another state, or is there another, like a little farm you could have, or I don't know. Just think about that as a place where you live, and then also relationships and networks. You know, do you have redundancy in your relationships and networks in case there's an emergency, or in case you need support or moral support? Do you have channels that you can go to where you can be encouraged, etc.? So these are all things that we can look into and that we should look into. So really just ponder that today. You know, a smart rabbit has 3 holes. So something to think about. Morning, how are you? My neighbor out running. So, yeah, do you have an alternate plan? Have you thought about it? Have you thought about your backups in your health, your backups in your finances, your alternative in your living, where you live, and also your relationships? Have you thought about that? Certainly got me going this week. Anyway, so for today, I would say, you know, if you haven't subscribed, I would love for you to subscribe. Hit a like. It helps this channel. And meanwhile, may the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord's face shine upon you and give you peace. And until another time, God bless you. Bye.